What's up, brothers and sisters? Your brother G World 7_D. Here's a book called The Delaware Indians, A History. All right. Now, I mentioned before about the Delaware Indians. I talked about the Lenape, right? Now, I'm going to turn to chapter 2 of this book. The book I just showed you. I'm showing you right now. All right. And I gotta see right here. But I'm going to read it like this. Okay. The home of the Delawares, at the time they were first encountered by the white man, was far from Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Kansas, and Ontario, where the descendants are found today. Centuries before, they lived along the banks of the Delaware River and in the area drained by its tributaries. Remember I mentioned about the tributaries, how the different rivers within the continent, or the different channels that come from the different rivers, they're able to break off and to sail into various different river channels, come from these different tributaries that basically like feed into the Mississippi River, feed into the Illinois River, feed into the Colorado River, something like that. So they have various different tributaries. They were able to travel within the continent. They used boats, all right? But in their native habitat, they were not known as the Delawares. Their name for themselves was the Lenape, which had been given various meanings, such as original people, men among men, and men of our kind. But the element Len, which is present in both words, means common, and api refers to people. The word Lenape stand alone can be translated as common people. In addition of Lenni, a redundancy reinforces that meaning. After the English arrived along the Atlantic seacoast, the Lenape were given their new name, which was derived from the third Lord Delaware, Sir Thomas West, who was appointed governor of the English colony of Jamestown, Virginia, in 1610, named after the damn Black King James, the king of Britain and Scotland. All right. One of the followers, Captain Samuel Argyle, seeking provisions for the Virginia colonists, left for a voyage up the Atlantic coast, and on his way back to Jamestown, named after the Black King James, sailed into a majestic bay that he named in honor of the governor. As time went on, the Lenape people living on the shores of the Delaware Bay and along the banks of the river that emptied into it came to be called the Delaware Indians. The irony is that the Lord Delaware returned to England without seeing the river or the bay named after him, or any of the Indians who still perpetuate his name. When the earliest Dutch explorers, like Cornelius Hendrickson, who made the first map of the Delaware River, and Cornelis May, sometimes spelled May, for whom Cape May is named, sailed up the river, they saw some of the homes of the Indians on both sides of the stream. Told you, like I said before, they were sailing up and down the rivers, having building monuments and other different building structures near the waterway. The Delawares are also placed in villages along the small freshwater tributaries because such locations afforded their families better protection from bad weather than exposed, windswept banks of the Delaware River proper. It also brought them in closer proximity to the animals and birds that sought out the interior streams and marshes for feeding and breeding. Shad, herding, and other fish were more easily netted when they entered the headwaters of the tributary streams to spawn, and the fertile upstream fastlands were also conducive to agriculture. Not only were the Delawares dispersed into small communities, each located on suitable waterways, but these groups were separate from and politically independent of each other. Some writers have arbitrarily assigned the Delawares to an extensive geographical area, even going so far as to suggest that the Indians living on Long Island, such as the Montauk and the Shinnecock, and those along the upper Hudson, usually classified as the Mahicana or the Mahican, should also be included in the Lenape family. Some of these notions had their origins in the appendix that Charles Thompson contributed to Thomas Jefferson Notes on the state of Virginia, first published in 1787. Thompson wrote that the Lenape was a nation or confederacy of 5 tribes who all spoke one language. I repeat, Thompson wrote that the Lenape was a nation or a confederacy of 5 tribes who all spoke one language. Now, when you think of confederacy, you think about the Southern Confederacy. Man, they took all this stuff from us here. Okay, I'm going to keep going. He identified these 5 tribes in the areas of occupancy as the Shahoe, the Shahoe, who lived on the west side of Delaware River, the Lenape, who inhabited New Jersey, the Munsees on the upper Delaware, the Wabeans, or the Mohicanders between the Delaware and the Hudson, and the Mahicon, or Manhattan, who occupied Staten Island, Manhattan Island, Long Island, and that part of the states of New York and Connecticut, lying between the Hudson and Connecticut rivers. There is no historical evidence for these classifications, which Thompson garbled, and no justification for using the word Lenape as a catch-all to cover tribes living in Manhattan and adjacent islands. Now, in one of the books I had before, I showed you the original people who lived in the Northeast. There was another but Negroes with woolly hair. All right. Now, unfortunately, these stupid-ass Pan-Africans continues to tell you that you come from slaves from Africa. And then when you don't want to identify as African, they say that you hate yourself, and they're going to bombard you, say they're proud Africans. Well, I'll buy them a ticket to Africa or back to Africa, because we're not Africans. We're indigenous to this damn land. I said that we have some relationship with brothers and sisters in other land, but we are the original damn Indians. We need to reclaim who the hell we are. Stop saying that you're some damn African American. You're not an African American. You are an indigenous, aboriginal, black Americans who live here in America. You are aboriginal to this land. Period. But when you listen to goofballs like that Dr. Ma'at, Umar Johnson, Sarasut Seti, you get confused. You're taught, they're teaching you something that's inaccurate. And they continue to regurgitate what was given to them by white folks. All you got to do, you can go on YouTube and look at how the Lenape look like. Those are straight up Negroes. And I'm reading about Negroes whose land was taken from them. These are not Africans. They're mixed with a lot of the black European Moors, but they're not no damn Africans. These are aboriginal blacks of this land. True Indians. And I brought up Jamestown because it's named after the black king of Britain and Scotland, King James. Not only were the Delawares dispersed into small communities. All right, no, I read that part. Yeah, well, I can go back and read that because I stopped. Well, I'm gonna continue going. Excuse me. Thompson wrote that the Lenape, like I said, was a nation or confederacy of 5 tribes who all spoke one language. He identified it. Okay, I read that part. But here I go. Another early writer, E.M. Ruttenberg, also arbitrarily included a number of tribes of New York State under the broad heading of the term Lenape, which also been repeated by later historians. Although this assumption is also without historical foundation, modern ethnologists use the term Delaware Indians and Lenape synonymously, and agree that the homeland of these Indians should be delimited to the states of New Jersey and Delaware. That part of southeastern Pennsylvania lying between the Susquehanna and Delaware rivers, and the southeastern part of New York State west of the Hudson. It should not be inferred, however, that the Indians occupants of the area were closely knit political groups having a head schism who wielded authority over a host of Indian subjects. This concept is alien to the basic structure of Delaware Indian society, although Europeans never seemed able to divest themselves of the idea that the Delaware had to have an alternative chief who ruled all of his people. In actuality, each Delaware village was an independent community, having its own chieftains and a great man who served the chieftains in the role of counselors and participated in the decision-making. Often the people living in villages along the same stream constituted what can best be described as a band, and the most influential village chief may have functioned as the nominal head of the band. The Indians and the stream on which their villages were situated were often known by the same name. For instance, the natives living on Sikanishinic Creek at Lewes, Delaware, were called the Sicket Indians, also rendered by Europeans in such spellings as Sycanes or Sycaneses and Shikaneseki. I think I pronounced that wrong. Those living on the Rancocas Creek were called Rancocas Indians. Those on the Brandywine were known as the Brandywine Indians, and so forth. I'm gonna stop right there, man. Man, this goddamn information is right in front of your face. Like I said before, you gotta know how the people look like. Who were they? The Lenape were in Delaware, what we now know as Delaware. Those are Negro people, like I said, to this very day. Those are straight up black people. And you may have some white folks who will mix themselves in there, but the Lenape was some straight up Negroes, man. These are some straight up black people, man. This is in this book, The Delaware Indians, a history. These are some straight up Negroes, man. When you listen to these idiots like Dr. Mahat, man, and the people she had on that Fly Nubian Queen crap, they push that Pan-African garbage, and it is garbage because it tried to demonize you when you really study your history and know who you are. See, these clowns don't think that you read. They think that some of us read and do our own research. Because when we do our own research and we do our own reading, we know this information. These some jackasses, man. They will try to refute and deny everything. And like I said, when you don't acknowledge that or admit yourself or identify yourself as an African, then they want to say that you self-hate yourself. No, we don't self-hate ourselves. We love ourselves when we really identify who the hell we are. And I'm saying it's hard, man. I can't stand Pan-Africans, man, because they misinforming our people. There was hundreds of millions of black folks already here in the Americas. And we originally weren't no goddamn slaves. There was hundreds of millions of us here, man. And these idiots continue to push that Pan-African garbage. We're not Africans, man. Do not let these Negro historians try to Africanize the Aboriginal history here either. Don't allow them to do that. We are not Africans. We are Aboriginal blacks of this land. Now, if you don't like the term, using the term black, okay, that's on you, man. But when I'm trying to emphasize that we're indigenous to this land, we sailed around the world from here. Brothers and sisters, other places sailed over here. Or other places like Asia to Africa, Africa to America, America to Europe to Africa. It was always constant sailing. I said before, they had wooden ships. They had ships that they can deconstruct and they can reconstruct with directions to reconstruct them. And many of them ships did not even have nails to reconstruct them. They used rope. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, your history is right in front of your face. Do not listen to this Umar Johnson, who's a dumbass. This Dr. Mahat. None of these old tired black historians. Because they're tired, man. I'm tired of them. Because they continue to misinform our people. Study your history. Know who the hell you are, man. Know who the hell you are. Because I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of lying. I'm tired of talking about the year return to some damn Ghana. No. Your home is here. Don't be sucking at them people sucking your money, man. Your home is here in Americas. Not saying you don't have no relationship there, but I'm saying your main home is here in Americas. Your ancestors built this land. This is your land. And your ancestors had a great civilization in this part of the world before white folks ever existed on this damn planet. Peace and love.